Yes, time is 5:31. I'll call the meeting to order. Staff, would you like to do the roll call?
Yes. Chairperson Moore.
Here.
Vice Chairperson Rogers.
Here.
Commissioner Campos. Commissioner Dolan. Commissioner Aguirre.
Here.
And Commissioner Ruiz.
Here.
Okay.
So we have 4. We do have a quorum, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Minutes to approve. It says we have no minutes to approve from the last meeting. We can move on to the active agenda. The public hearing for Martin Velasquez, long plat. Do you want to update us on that?
Sure, absolutely. So I have a staff report for you, and a public hearing for Martin Velasquez long plat. And I'll just kind of go through it. I know this is our first meeting kind of together. I may do plats a little bit different, so I kind of go in a little more in depth, and if you have any questions, ask them of me. So before you, I have a preliminary long plat from Martin Velasquez. Preliminary long plat for a proposal to subdivide approximately 21 acres into a total of 105 lots in the medium density. The long plat application was submitted and dated on May 26, 2022, and will subdivide approximately 21 acres into 105 single-family lots. Lots will range from approximately 6,502 square feet to 10,166. So that comes out to a density of less than 9 dwelling units per net residential feet. The zoning district standard. The plat is being processed under SMC Chapter 1628 and 1814. The application was deemed complete for processing on July 6, 2022, and underwent SEPA Environmental Policy Act. The DNS was issued on August 8, 2022, and no appeals have yet been filed. City of Sunnyside Planning Commission has the authority to make a recommendation to approving, disapproving, or approval with written findings. There was one public comment that was received in support of the application on July 24th, 2022. On pages 3 and 4, you can find different city comments in regards to the application. Most of that information has to do with subdivision and engineering standards. On pages 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 of the staff report, we have a series of SMC applicable law. Most of that applicable law covers plat content, lot design, provision of the municipal code, as-built drawings, street utilities, sidewalks, fire apparatus, sewers, water, naming, and some RCW requirements. Moving on to findings on page 9. The plat is zoned 21 acres and is zoned and has been designed for single-family residences. The density is at about 5 units per net residential acre. The side rights-of-way are classified as local streets, requiring a total of 50 feet of right-of-way. Full street improvements will be required as part of this application, including curb, gutter, sidewalk. And the lot sizes range from 6,500 to approximately 10,100 square feet. All the lots meet our width and proposed cover standards. The application meets the goals and policies of the comprehensive plan and subdivision ordinance. Is a requirement for a traffic impact analysis as part of the conditions here. And the applicant has 5 years from the date of preliminary plat to submit for a final plat. So in conclusion, the preliminary plat complies with the general requirements. The proposed subdivision meets the density standards of the R2. The proposed long plat has primary access via West Addison. The proposed plat serves public uses and interests, provides the possibility of creating new additional housing in Sunnyside. The Planning Commission has jurisdiction to review and send a recommendation to City Council. A DNS was issued on August 8th. The preliminary plat complies with the goals and objectives of the comprehensive plan. And the proposed plat complies with the RCW and the FMC. So staff recommendations for this proposed long plat, page 13. The applicant shall gain approval of civil engineers. Prior to the final plat, all improvements shall be constructed or financially secured. New internal streets shall be constructed in accordance with ST-3 standard details. Adequate right-of-way shall be dedicated along West Edison Avenue. Frontage improvements shall be installed along West Edison frontage. All lots shall be served with public water. All sanitary sewer systems shall be installed. A 10-foot wide utility easement for underground power, telephone, cable, television shall be provided. All new utilities shall be installed underground. All public and private utilities shall be located within public road rights of way. Fire hydrants shall be placed at locations specified by the building codes. A large project stormwater permit shall be required. All addresses shall be shown clearly on the face of the plat. The plat shall be subject to the following notes. The addresses shown are accurate as of the date of recording, and others shown here and their grantees and assignees by covenant agreed to retain all surface water generated within the plat on site. Irrigation approval should be shown on the face of the plat. Number 16, subdivider shall submit to the city a reproducible as-built drawing. 17, all the requirements of the zoning and subdivision ordinance will be complied with. And number 18, upon approval, the applicant has 5 years to submit the final plat.
Shall we open up for public comment, public hearing? Okay, we're going to open up the next section for public comment and hearing. Any members of the audience, would you like to come forward who have anything to say about this? Please state your name and the city you reside in.
Hi, I'm Doug Gray with the Gray Surveying in Yakima for resident. We've read the staff report and the recommendation. Shane was going to be here tonight, but we had a pre-application meeting. In that meeting, we talked about this traffic analysis. And they agreed to, we had talked to JUB engineers to hold it a bit less. We agreed to that. Number 15, it says a traffic impact analysis. That we would agree.
I'm open to that. I know that there were discussions before I was here. So yeah, there's already been an established scope and this.
So that I don't have any problem with any of it.
Thank you, Mr. Gray. Does anyone have any questions, commissioners? You mentioned number 15, but which page was that on? Because on 15, I've got a different. Oh, page 14. Yeah, that one says irrigation. Let me see.
12, number 10.
10. There we go.
Page 12, number 10.
There we go. Okay, thank you.
Do we know if there've been any discussions with SVID regard to the issue brought up on page 3 and 6B?
Yes, we've had a pre-meeting with, SCID. Went over, everything, so that the SCID green line goes through. They're going to allow us to previous plat to the east. All the lots, from the south side.
Do we have the geotech, that property by any chance?
Not yet.
Not yet. Do you know what the geotech, when are we gonna receive that?
Well,
Oh, okay.
we'll
Commissioners, anything else from Mr. Gray? Thank you so much. And would anybody else like to come forward? Okay, we can close this public hearing and have questions for staff. Public hearing is closed on this matter. However, I see that the date of mailing of notice was August 8th. Nothing came back or no other comments from surrounding neighbors?
Nope, nothing.
Okay.
Just the one comment that I included, for
Mhm.
yeah, that's the only current public comments I received.
Commissioners, do you have any questions for staff on any of the information you've received?
So on page number 7, letter M, this land which the city council or city planning commission has found unsuitable for development due to flood and insufficient drainage, swamp conditions, or any other conditions likely to be harmful for health and safety. What are we gonna do regarding that? Page 7,
Right.
letter M.
So there's, as far as I'm, like, as far as I know, there aren't any there because it's part of the subdivision ordinance. I like to include all different items that we have the purview of looking at. And I haven't, as far as I can tell, I haven't had any comments that were.
Oh, so that doesn't apply to that?
No.
Oh, okay, I was just
Unless
wondering.
there's something, so that's in there, if there is something that maybe somebody on the planning committee of the site, or something like that, and we could address it, that's why it's.
Oh, okay.
So we can break it out. Witness sort of something that's, you can find underneath that section.
Oh, okay.
Trevor, this, if we go along with the recommendation and send it to city council, that traffic analysis has to be done, obviously, before council can make a decision, is that correct?
No. So how it goes is we will take our recommendations, and I do, the traffic impact analysis probably be taken as created as item 19. But no, so that would, the recommendation would be taken to council, and then, that would, you would approve the preliminary conditions. Council would recognize that you approved it, and, you have 5 years to do that traffic study. And you can ask for an extension.
Let's assume there is a negative impact on traffic. What will happen then?
So if there is some sort of negative impact on traffic, or if there is a capacity reduction, then what happens is we have what's called our 6-year TIP, and we will compare the findings against our TIP. There, we have to do some analysis on cost of those impacts and the reductions, the actual amount of standard that has been reduced. So there typically is what happens is, say, if the street drops from like a level of surface C, we have to do whatever we can to bring that street back up to that level. So that might be installing turn lanes or doing what we can that's kind of all that makes sense, as well as the traffic analysis.
Okay.
There would be some collaborative efforts between the applicants.
Do you need some more time to look through this, or are you ready to make a vote? Commissioners?
I'm ready.
I'll make a motion that we approve the Harvest Valley Estates planning, or subdivision, if you will, subject to all those items beginning on page 13 through 15.
Analysis of that as well.
Number 9, it would be up to number 19, traffic analysis, add to that at the very end of page 15.
Yes, please.
I have to recuse myself from this vote, sadly, because of my affiliation with TJ's Refrigeration and our very long, good standing relationship with Mr. Velasquez. So I have to recuse myself from this vote, but we could take a second on that motion if someone wants to take a
Do
second.
we have a quorum
We have a quorum with me missing.
with her recusal?
We have 4 present, so I think it's already the quorum is what I would. Quorum of the available positions, which there are 7. We have 4 today, and then we have the majority of the
we're looking for a second motion from either of you.
I'll second it.
Okay. Motion has been made by Commissioner Rogers and seconded by Commissioner Aguirre for the preliminary plot for proposal subdivision to go to review to approve to City Council. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion has been made. Okay, we can move to active agenda item B, zoning code changes, review residential zoning districts. And staff, what do you have for us on that?
Thank
Thank you for coming.
So,
So what I have for you, and I have to have a series of these for our next several planning commission meetings, is I am going through the zoning ordinance, bit by bit, and updating it to be a little more streamlined, to make a little more sense. And you feel free to give me as much feedback as you want. That's exactly why I'm bringing it to you. So what I'm bringing it to you today is what I have started on. And please let me know if you think I'm headed down the wrong road. I'm happy to whatever it is. So what I have before you today, and I'm going to cover it in sections. And today is just going to be the residential section. So currently, in the city of Sunnyside, we have the urban residential agriculture area. We have the R1M for the low density residential manufactured housing. We have low density residential, and we have mobile home subdivision zone. We have four zoning districts for low density residential. So my idea with moving into this is kind of consolidate those and bring those into just kind of one zoning district that you can have multiple uses in. So the idea here is to take the URA, the R1M, and the mobile home subdivision and condense it into just an R1 subdivision. And if we kind of go through this, I have a bunch of red lines for you, and by no means am I looking to get this done tomorrow. So I know this is going to be a little bit of a process, and I want to keep you guys updated as we go through all of this. But I want to use the R1 zoning district for those three other separate uses. So the R1 low density, so it's a certain amount of houses per net residential acre, but it will also allow for our urban residential agriculture. So if somebody wanted to do mini ranchettes, they can still do that in the R1 zoning district. If they want to do a residential manufactured housing development, we can still do that in the R1 zoning district. It's just be a separate way to be a use that's listed under the R1 zoning district. So if we go to page 17. So that in there talks about the type 1 permitted uses to be single family, one lot per or one per dwelling, one per lot, and has the outlined uses. So I'm kind of putting it all there up front and center. It looks like a lot, but I promise it's consolidating some of the stuff that's out there and using to explain it to developers. I guess I'll let you have it and ask me any questions you want as we R2 will stay the same and R3 will stay the same, but I have also proposed is that in the city of Sunnyside, we currently have what are known as type 1 through 5 uses. And it's not very clear in the zoning code how that works. That's also found in chapter 19. I'm also taking those 1 through 5 uses out of 19 and reflecting them in the zoning code, so that way when a developer looks at our code, they can, okay, this is a type 2 use, it requires a notice, it requires this, that, and the other thing. Or it's the type 4 use, which requires a meeting here before the planning commission. They don't have to jump from 17 and go, I don't know what this means, and then jump to 19 and try to figure it out here. So it is expanded a little bit, but still, I'm trying not to limit anybody's uses. I just want to make it a little more clear. That makes sense.
So the way the system is now, is it, I mean, is it hard for the developers or what to understand what zoning is?
A little, so we're running into some weird issues right now, especially with like the URA zoning district. And we the screen here. So if we look at the monitor behind us, this that's some of the weirdness that I'm running into. This yellow area right here, kind of middle of the city, zoned URA for the urban residential agriculture mini ranchettes right here. Surrounded by R3, R2, and then some industrial. All of the lots have gone for sale recently, but the current zoning code does not allow for these parcels to be subdivided smaller than 1 acre. So the people who are here have to do, if they want to do anything, they have to a house on a 1 acre. But it's kind of goofy. Whereas if we were to just eliminate that or consolidate that, if we would consolidate that to like an R1, they would be able to subdivide those lots a little bit more, get some density, and and that would help with creating street extensions that make sense.
What part of the city is this?
Where is that?
This is South Hill. Saul Road runs right down the middle of it, and then there's Ajo. Ajo is this brown stuff over to the Isabel, 4th Street, so it's east of 4th Street. Tucked in there a little bit. A lot of space. And I've talked to some people who are, and you can see that there's a little bit of R1. This light yellow right here is R1. Some of these lots have hit the market recently. I've been getting calls, I would like to subdivide more than an acre right now. So
Does this road go all the way through where it stops here and stops there?
it does, it stops in both ends. So if there's a future subdivision, we would probably.
What you're saying is that you want to take the R1 and put the manufactured homes, so you're saying that under the new way, that manufactured homes could go into those.
No, what I'm saying is, that this URA zoning district, so this is for mini ranchettes, this is for single-family homes.
Right.
On 1 acre parcels. So rezoning that to R1, which would be single-family homes, primarily single-family homes, because, manufactured homes fall underneath conditional use, and I'm gonna keep it underneath conditional use. So this would primarily be for single-family, stick-built homes on lots that are I have it varying, about 6,500 square feet.
So then the new way that you're thinking, combining these things together, so you're saying that strictly sticks. If you mentioned a manufactured home also going into the new wording that you're wanting to read.
Right, so it would still be an option under this, so, it would still be an option in the R1 zoning district, but it would have to go through the conditional use process.
I just didn't want to see that change, and all of a sudden we've got 20 manufactured homes and 20 stick homes, and it's like,
Yeah.
well, wait, this is gonna jive here.
Right, yeah. And we can also look at that too, the types of conditional. So if we narrow down, like, if we only have like a R1, R2, and R3 zoning district, we can narrow it down so that manufactured home parks are a conditional use in only the R3 zoning district. So we can narrow it down like that. I think this would be a cleaner way of doing that than rezoning something like R1 manufacturing. They have 3 to deal with, because then if we go back to selecting sites for just like R1 manufactured, it kind of gets into the whole idea of spot zoning, and it doesn't vibe well with the way commerce has turned over the last years. So having it all the future underlying land use is low density, and kind of picking what you want to allow in that.
Going back to this, rezoning, I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
Due to the fact there is multiple nice homes located on this side. I believe they're having issues, they're reselling this lot quite often by a couple of people, because I've overheard someone that the city sewer and water, it's not so close to it,
Right.
and so forth. But I believe if we do accept that rezoning, it'll generate more housing for the city of Sunnyside and generate more income tax. So we could start doing more, street work and stuff. Since there is an Ajo community, we might get a big developer come and purchase the property around here, in which they could probably expand Ajo, you know. And there is a lot of ranches there. There is access to a road here, I've seen it. The only thing is that we're gonna come to a conflict if people buy lock land, like this one here. But what are we gonna do with that?
So, and
Lock land.
that's also the little bit of the dilemma that I've kind of been looking at this as well, is, if we want these low density undeveloped areas, I should say, have their highest and best land use and out of down. Developers are gonna want some density out of it, they're gonna want, that way their site improvements pay off. But that's kind of the other thought behind this as well. When he does come in, they want to propose 3 houses or something like that, in their books, to also extend water services and road frontages. And that way we can actually do loop streets, create good fire access, that's turned around. So that would be probably the best way to do that, is helping do something to encourage density. Because yeah, if you keep it the way it is, it might split our subdivision ordinance. It allows 1 or 2 connections off of an easement. Not gonna get any.
Well, that's agriculture, isn't it?
They might be using it for some fields or something.
Most of the lawns are just hot mess grass. I've drove there. I'm saying. But I don't see why not rezone it, but leave the pre-existing homes with maybe 1 acre only, or whatever the county allows, because they might have well systems and a septic, right? So,
Right, and anything that's there would, of course, be allowed to stay there. They want to change over.
do we know if the homes there, pre-existing homes, are connected to sewer and water for the city, or are they under the well?
I'm gonna guess that a lot of them are probably on septics. There might be a handful that are on water.
Big one, they're building a home, are hooked up to the water. But I don't know about sewer,
In this area here.
And our district allows, if you have a lot, a half an acre, I don't think they'll see sewer come through here until we have.
Do you know how many homes are in that exact area?
Great idea.
It allows density, it helps promote a little bit of infill in the city. We would like to see, just for the extending and like if you look at this one over here, so this one's this is the same hill, and there's mini ranchettes and to me, yeah, and that's just kind of the stuff that I'm looking at. Looking for your advice on tell me how to move forward if we want to keep this. To me, it can create some future problems down the road when it comes to being within state guidelines for our comprehensive planning.
We have a lot of stuff coming up. We've got the 144 homes going in, on that way. We've got the over 90 some over across from Golub's Landing coming in.
Across
Mobile
from where?
homes. Mobile
Oh,
homes.
yes.
We've got the 105 from Mr. Velasquez. I would prefer to see it no smaller than acre lots at least. Bigger, you know, the Ajo's great, but the driving in there is insane. There's no parking. It's kind of a nightmare, quite frankly. And I don't think that the second phase followed the guidelines that they were supposed to follow with the wider streets that I can see. I don't know. But
Yeah, because you gotta basically, you go and there's somebody coming.
if you've got,
Somebody needs to move over so that.
yeah, if you've got a fire and emergency in those streets, you got a real problem. But I love it, but I just prefer bigger, more spacious areas, not topped up for small. Oh, there's almost no lot line.
So if we consolidate, I mean, that's still an option. In R1, if we were to do this and consolidate it into, what is the option to create? That's kind of what I was looking at, is to give developers more wiggle room, so they can still do that, more concise in our.
As a developer, if you can only do one house in 1 acre and you buy 2 acres, it's not worth its bucks to run sewer, water, and street to that particular land. But let's say one developer buys 50 acres, they're willing to take that risk to put all the utilities to that property. That's the only difference. Now, if we are seeing issues at Ajo, which I do drive by there, the streets are very narrow. The only thing we have to do, just make sure the new development,
Right.
make sure it's another 10 feet extra. You know, do not allow that development to have smaller streets, because we're gonna have with the same issue as Ajo. Now, if you guys decide to rezone this, now we just have to make sure that we don't fall with the same issues as Ajo with the street size. Now, the lot size are tiny, but it falls within the city code. I think the Ajo streets are 20 feet or 25. They have to be 32 roughly, because I was talking to Doug. I work with him for one of the subdivisions, and he was telling me about the width of the streets and stuff.
That's typically what I would, that is, I can tell you that will be my recommendation forward with every subdivision. I think that width is going to be 32 feet. They come to me and they say, I want it to be a private street. And then typically how I would address that is like, okay, if you want it to be a private street, fine. Doesn't plow it, the city doesn't. And when it comes into the city, your subdivision here pays for the improvements to widen that road. So I would address it, and that would be a note and something. I'll be transparent, that's what you will see from me.
Now, for the city code, when it comes to a private road or street for a new subdivision, I believe it should limit to 3 or 5 houses max for them to convert it to a private road. Because we saw, or I seen the new development by Jesse's site, that's right across the Ajo community. I don't see no curb nor gutters. It's just asphalt, you know?
Right.
And that makes it off. Like, it's like, okay, it's a brand new house, but it's not city street anymore. It's more like private driveway.
Right, and typically I do recommend that those are avoided, because through those, generally, like the homeowners association vision, when it fails. But I typically wouldn't recommend, unless you have some density there, 20, 30, 2 or 3 houses. Right.
Trevor, are you looking for a timeframe on this? What
No.
would you foresee for this?
So for this, and I kind of want also to, because I'm new to you and you're new to me, so and I do apologize if you did not get don't feel like you got your packets in time. I'll try to get those out earlier. Typically, I was going to ask you how you would like to, because this couple transition. I were to print these off a week ahead of time and leave them at City Hall for you to pick up. Would that be okay? Is that something?
Sure.
Yeah.
Or email them.
Or email? Okay.
Yeah.
Email time, too.
So as we're going through this, what I would like your guidance on is if you can take this, right now I have updated essentially 104 through, not even 04, so it's 1705, 06, and 07 are the main ones that I have updated in here. If you would like to, over the next month, kind of look at them, digest them a little bit, your thoughts, we'll have some feedback, and then I can give you the next step. We're ready to through here.
What numbers are they once again?
5, 6, and 7.
Okay.
You kind of get a feel for what I'm going going forth here, and then if you like it, tell me you don't like it, you want to see something different, you want to see a little more spaced out, you want to have a zoning district that has a minimum of, if you, instead of just, the three that I have here, if you want to pull one out and make, what I've seen in other communities, they do like a, R1, like a RA or SR, that talks that minimum lot size is like half an acre or something. Or another one that has less density, SR, or you do a little bit more, but it's still going to have that.
Is there any way to get us, basically on the planning commission a long time ago, we got map,
Oh, yeah.
is there any way to get us, so all of us could have that map, so as we're looking through this, we can, kind of hard to visualize, okay, where is this and that? Is there any way that we could all have individual maps so we can have these and go through?
Yeah, we have a plotter, so I can print out some nice big, 24 maps for you, and we can do that, work on that small. Yeah, it is, it's very helpful having, because I'm going through and cross-referencing things, like, okay, this makes sense in my mind, but I want it to make sense in your mind. I'm just want to look at residential right now, and then, next time we meet, we can discuss it, and then I want to jump into commercial. I talked to you about what I was thinking about commercial. Having the industrial zones, I don't think will change too much, because those are pretty well used for exactly what they're being used for. There hasn't been too much way of change there. And then I have some stuff to work out with the airport. That's going to take a little bit. And there's some chapters on general regulations. We have to do something with accessory dwelling units. He ordered us to do something with accessory dwelling units, so you'll see a little bit of that in here, but I want to add it to the general regulations chapter, and then there's home occupations. I'm talking about home occupations for those, and then this is just kind of practicing some stuff. And residential units have a good strategy that might help houses that are kind of in those weird transitions. A way for them to make improvements or to rebuild, expand if they're on, they're traditionally on like 8,000 square foot lot or something like that, it's going to stay a house if we're being real with ourselves. A way for them to do some modifications to their home without having to jump through. Help them a little bit. I'll be bringing that to you as well. A lot of stuff. Please feel free to email me, send me any questions, comments.
Okay, we don't have any public here, so any additional items from staff? Anything on the agenda?
No, I just working through this zoning code over the next month. We will be having some comp plan stuff come up here. I feel like you probably just went through all of this, but the regular updates are happening. They're due by 2026. The period for the grants, that's situated to go starts next year. without it coming up in the relatively soon.
I know we had settled on 5:30 meeting times. Does that still work for everybody? I know you're in Yakima, aren't you, Trevor? I mean, it works for me if you guys are good with that. Meeting is September 13th. Does that look okay for everyone's schedule? And get everybody here. We'll try and get away and, we're going to work on.
So there's one open position.
Okay.
Somebody in mind?
Commissioners, anything else? Any comments? Me too, we're going to adjourn the meeting.
How's the business going?
Good, busy. We're finally got the inside open and, yeah.
And